Okay.
No,
Excuse me?
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready. You make me think of the old guy in the movies, but it's just trying to clear his throat and get ready to say something, very amazing and very over the top and almost too dramatic. Or just simply try to get somebody's attention. Like, hello,
Right.
welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another one-off episode of Bearded Bible Brothers. I am your bearded host, Matt Crosswhite.
And I'm your other bearded host, Josiah Marshall.
And
Boy,
today
that low voice is really working today.
yeah, you're getting over bronchitis is really working for you.
Yeah, it really is. So, Matt, what were you going to say? Okay.
So we are doing another lighthearted, fun conversation today. We've done multiple rounds of favorite books, most impactful books, books that we've read recently. Today we're going to switch into movies. So we'll do another one sometime soon about TV shows, but today we're doing favorite movies.
If we haven't alienated people already.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something deeply theological, this is the podcast, but this is not the episode. If you're looking for a fun laugh your way through traffic conversation, this might be the right one.
Right.
So I kind of want to go first just to make sure you don't steal one of my top movies.
Okay, I have to say, I already have my number one picked out. I've had this one for years. My kids, you know how kids are always asking questions, right? Well, Daddy, what is your favorite song? What is your favorite movie? What is your favorite word? It's like,
Yep.
Okay.
Right now, my
All
3.5-year-old son is in the phase of, Daddy, what's your favorite thing? Just in general, what's your favorite thing?
What's been your answer?
Talking about Jesus, reading my Bible, or playing with him. Those are my top answers.
Okay.
And he's like, I like those too, Daddy.
Well, what would be your top one right now for movies?
Okay, so disclaimer. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite movies in no particular order. I can't place them as the number one, the number two.
Okay.
So for the sake of time on this podcast, we'll probably do Matt's top five favorite in no particular order. So you know how there's a thing going around on social media about apparently guys think about the Roman Empire way more than ladies do?
No, I'm not on social media. So
that's right. You live under a rock up there in Utah. But the rest of us, there's this big thing going around that guys think about the Roman Empire at least once a week, and it's actually kind of funny.
Do you? I don't.
Well,
do you?
I would say I do just because of Bible.
Okay.
At some point when thinking about the Gospels, the Roman Empire comes up.
All right, I'll give you that one. But I mean, if it was for me, what do I think about? What civilization do I think about? It's probably Lord of the Rings. The Hobbiton or something.
I was really hoping you were going to say something really random and off the wall, like I tend to think about the Mesozoic era, or
I actually thought of that.
I think about the Byzantines on a regular basis.
I actually thought of that, but I thought, you know what? No, I'll take it the other route.
My number one movie is going to accidentally affirm all of those GIFs and memes about guys thinking about the Roman Empire, because my number one is going to be Gladiator.
Russell Crowe. Are you not entertained?
Exactly. Such a good movie, such a heroic character. There's romance, there's action, there's philosophy, it's such a good all around. There's tragedy, there's triumph. Such a good all around movie.
It's been a long time since the movie, but I remember the epicness of it. Very, very
Yes.
epic. And
Very
you don't get a better engine for a story than betrayal, right?
true.
Oh man, what an engine! Because he's betrayed, his wife and son are killed, and he's thrown into slavery and nearly dies in the desert. It's like, oh boy,
Spoilers.
huh? Spoiler alert! It's been around long enough. I think we can spoil it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. So, what do you like about it so much?
Just the heroism and
Just the
the
heroism. Okay.
I
Okay.
I definitely being tongue in cheek and throwing a modern cultural phrase in the culture's own face. I love the
Mm.
amount of toxic masculinity in that movie.
That's not a modern phrase.
It's not?
I said, if that isn't a modern phrase,
Oh.
I think.
It's like just straight manliness.
Oh boy, yeah, yeah.
He
Oh
rises to the
boy.
occasion. He is the hero. He does what needs to be done, and he does it
Hmm.
with the most elegant, manly style possible.
Well,
Yes.
let's see here.
Like that
So you've
moment
got.
when he faces down the emperor, and I used to have
Oh
it
yeah,
memorized, but I don't. But just
yeah.
who are you? And he takes
Uh
off the
huh.
helmet and he gives the whole litany of who
Litany.
he
Yep.
is.
Yep. 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 Yep.
There is not a dry eye in the audience when he says it, and there is not a
No.
fist that is still in the lap.
Right.
Everything is pumped and
And your
yeah, let him
heart's
have it.
beating out of you, going. "Ah."
Exactly.
And he builds. He starts kind of soft, and then he really builds, and you really get that feeling. You go, oh yeah. My
Yes.
sister. So my
Husband of a
sister with
murdered
her
wife,
friends,
father of a murdered son.
son. Yep. My sister, it's funny we should say that because my sister and her friends come up behind us one time because she said they said we want to find out what boys talk about. What do boys talk about, right? So they come up behind us, and then later she tells me we were so disappointed. We were thinking you're going to be talking about this relationship over here or this idea over here, but all you guys were talking about was killing bugs.
Killing bugs.
What else is a guy supposed to do?
Yeah. And when we
Right?
get older, we talk about cars and
Right. So yeah,
yeah,
I mean, when you got
sports.
Gladiator in front of you, it's going to be masculine and it's going to be gravitas towards that, and it's making me think that okay, for that group of people, for that generation or whoever saw that movie, that's going to be their man movie. Going back in the '80s, you probably either got Rocky or Rambo. That's their man movie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You even go back into the '70s or what was it, the '60s? Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. You've got Kirk Douglas playing Spartacus, and that was a manly movie, right? Or
Yep.
Ben-Hur, for that matter. You see him in his toned arms racing that chariot around the stadium.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm carrying this on.
No, that's good. So that's my number one. What's near the top of your list? If not number
Oh,
one, it's
I
somewhere
have a
near
number
one of your
one.
favorites.
I have a number one.
Okay. What is it?
I've hemmed and hawed over this over the years because I remember when I was first on Facebook this was 20 years ago. There were those surveys going out a lot and going, oh, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? And I every now and then that number one movie would just kind of, I don't know, flip back and forth with between a few. But it wasn't until my son started hammering with that question where I finally decided, you know what, I'm just going to say it. Fiddler on the Roof.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a
Oh
very,
yeah.
very good movie, but
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've met anybody that's their all-time favorite.
All-time favorite. I have an
Excellent.
affinity. Oh, sorry. What?
No, go
Awesome.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I have an affinity for musicals. I grew up watching them. It's one of the few things I was allowed to watch, considering the very conservative background my family has, and so we were very limited. My adult movie at 12, when I got to stay up late for the first time on my birthday and watch movies, was Sands of Iwo Jima with John Wayne and South or Operation Pacific with John Wayne. It's like my big boy movies, yay!
All right.
But and then we were allowed to watch musicals. There was, all sorts. There was what's his name? Music Man. There's Music Man. That's a fun
Yep.
one. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Royal Wedding. There's a lot of them. If I took a minute to think, I'd probably come up with a lot of them, but I'm not. But really, Fiddler on the Roof taps out both on my favorite and really is one of the most impactful because there's so much communicated in that movie.
Yes.
It truly captures the essence of a people very, very well. And what I find so hysterical about that is that the director, when he was connecting with some of these bigger Jewish names and with some of these more prominent men, he'd say, I hope you're okay with this, me being just a simple goy. And it's like, he would actually say that to people because he would acknowledge the fact, I'm not a Jew. I'm not Jewish, but yet I'm happily to do it, considering his last name is Jewison. You ever notice that? His last name's Jewison, but he's not a Jew. So you wonder how that happened. I have no clue. But anyways, suffice it to say, I enjoy the movie so much that there are 2 documentaries out about it. And there's even some behind the scenes stuff that's been made available. I've seen it all. More than once.
Of course you have.
More than once. And then when my son started learning violin, it was something else being able to hear my son play. He came to me, Dad, can you print out the prologue so I could learn it on the violin? Sure. That's kind of big stuff, buddy. You ready to do? Oh yeah, Dad, I'm gonna try it. Isaac Stern's one of his biggest. My son plays violin, so he likes Isaac Stern a lot. He goes in there, he's fiddling around with it. In 15 minutes, he comes out and says, Dad, I can do the first part for you. Oh, wow. You got to be kidding me. He starts playing it. It's rushed. It's not necessarily very good, but the fact that he was trying and he was doing it is like this. Oh,
and he did it with any amount of success. That's fantastic.
Oh, it was.
Way to go, wonderful. Joel.
Now, I'm not Jewish, but although at times I feel like I'm Jewish at heart, just because of just the connection I have, not only through scripture, but just the passion that there is for life. I want to party just like God talks about in Leviticus 23. Let's do this, baby. But at the same time, it's just one of those movies where you can see so many elements of life being portrayed in a very complete and seamless way. I like being able to identify stories that are like that. And then not to mention the songs. I mean, come on, the songs. And then my son asked me, so what's your favorite song of the movie? He's like, okay, it would be the prologue. Where you've got Topol, which is the actor's name, doing Rev Tevi. He's playing Rev Tevi, and he's starting to sing the opening credits. And then, but my other favorite song is "Miracle of Miracles." Some of those words just really speak to me. So
very nice.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Excellent. It was a great movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Great movie.
And come to find out, it's one of the longest running and available movies in any format in the world.
Really?
One of. Oh, yeah. There's even a company, there's a theater company, stage company in Japan that's been doing that play for decades.
Very
decades. Because apparently in Jewish culture, that story speaks volumes. Wow, I had no clue. So it's just one of those things you go, cool. Wow. All right. All right. What's another one for you?
Excellent. Well, honestly, I would not have thought of this one if you hadn't just mentioned it. But, and this would go into the category of used to be one of my favorites as a kid and was formational. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I almost wanted to say it with you if I wasn't taking a sip of drink at the moment. Sip of water. It's like, okay, yeah. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
It was such a fun movie. And I don't know, just there again, masculine men in the woods with axes and saws and building buildings and learning how to be husbands that aren't jerks and
by stealing their wives.
Well, yes, there was that, but over the course of it, they learned how to be decent men.
Right. I remember one of the biggest moments for me when I was a kid was watching Gideon use the axe as kind of like a jump rope. Remember that?
Yes.
It's like, oh wow. It's just the way of going, realizing, oh, wait a minute, I can dance. And there's a way to dance that's very masculine. Because you got Fred Astaire in Royal Wedding using a coat hat, a hat rack sort of thing as a partner. Yeah, here's Gideon showing, hey, no, I can use an axe as a dancing partner.
And assuming you can't do the Russian Fiddler on the Roof with the bottle and the kicking, assuming that's not your
Oh
game,
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man, that one's oh man. No, but I have actually learned that there's a group of men that do that. They will go around weddings and they will do that dance for people.
That's hilarious.
Isn't it funny? Now that'd be cool if you'd see somebody rolling around. Hey, I'll do an axe dance for you. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's see somebody do that on America's Got Talent.
Right. Well, we've seen pretty much everything else. Might as well do that one too.
Right. Well, what do you like about it though? What's besides being masculine? Because you're definitely got a theme going here. You've got Gladiator.
Right. I like the budding romance. Honestly, I really like the songs. Being someone that sings baritone, I like to sing along with a lot of the songs. So that's always fun for me. Same reason I like
wait a minute.
Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Yep. I love singing along to those because they're actually songs that are on my level. They're deep enough that I can sing them.
You think we could get you to show us some of that baritone?
Nope. Nice try though.
Oh darn. Over the misty mountains call, or dungeons deep. You want to try that? Can I get you to do that at least?
Nope.
You know what I'm singing, right? I know you do.
Yes. I've actually only recently discovered, totally off subject from movies, but I sing well at baritone. But I've also discovered recently that I can do bass pretty well too, which is kind of fun.
Oh, cool. All right.
Actually, those are the days I do that in church a lot because church or synagogue or whatever we happen to be at. Those are the days when my son wants me to hold him during worship because then he rests his head on my chest and he just listens to the bass. And it like reverberates his little head. It's so much fun. And it's cool because with bass, like almost nobody around you can hear it. Unless you have a microphone, nobody can hear it. And so it's just me and my son. We're just worshiping.
Having a moment.
Yep.
I like that. You got another one? Got another masculine movie to throw on the pile?
I know. I feel like I got to change it up just so that it's not
dog pile.
Well, Greatest Showman is not all about a rugged, manly dude.
No, that's true. Very sensitive guy. Tends to be, at least. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Although you can't look at Hugh Jackman, at least if you don't have the background, you can't look at Hugh Jackman and not think, who am I thinking of?
It's true. Okay,
Wolverine.
So here's another one.
Wolverine.
Still got a rugged, manly character, but that's not the centerpiece of the movie.
Okay.
Another Russell Crowe movie.
All
Noah.
Right. I never saw that one.
You need to remedy that most immediately. Okay.
All right.
We'll resume this podcast later. Stop the pod. No, kidding. That one got so many negative reviews from evangelical community. Because I think they thought that it was all made up, but it's exactly following Jewish midrash, and they did a brilliant job of it. It is such a cool movie.
You have said that. The
whole premise being that that the watchers that fell in First Enoch, The watchers that fell regretted their decision, as it says in First Enoch, and they petitioned Enoch to go and present their case to God, and ask him to basically for favor and grace. And the whole idea that maybe Noah got help from the watchers to build his ark, because even after God said no, the watchers were trying to get back into God's good graces, and they lamented what they had done, et cetera, et cetera. Which, if you follow Enoch, the story of First Enoch, it really doesn't fit, but it fits a lot of Jewish midrash, and it's a great story. And if you know how Jewish midrash works, as we've discussed in previous episodes, it's a great story. It was a great movie. Go watch it.
All right. Well, I might have to finally consider that. And you know what? I've said Fiddler on the Roof. It seems to kind of go against this masculine theme we've got going for a second, which is why I would say that there is one that comes to mind that I wouldn't call necessarily my favorite, but it's an enjoyable one. It makes me laugh, and you got guys being guys. Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and the Furious is Hobbs and Shaw. Oh, it's funny. That's what is that? Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. Now, I like Jason. Jason's usually pretty good in what he does, but in this case, they've got them being men. And who's there's a woman in there. It's one of their sisters. I think it's Jason's sister. I think it's supposed to be his character's sister. Anyways, they got him, bunching people out, kicking people out of airplanes. There's one scene that just makes me laugh so hard. They're fighting in this airplane, and there's this baby in the baby carrier, and Jason tries to he puts on headphones onto the baby's ear so that the baby doesn't hear what's going on, and then he turns the carrier so the baby doesn't watch him beat the snot out of these guys that he's trying to kick out of the plane. So it's like, you know what? This is kind of funny sort of thing. It's kind of reminiscent for me. One of my actors, one of my all-time actors, favorite actors, is Jackie Chan. Now, I have a number one actor, but Jackie Chan is definitely up there because he's able to show that he can be tough and yet funny at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's what Jason and Dwayne, but really Jason came across that way. I mean, Dwayne, yeah, okay, fine. But I mean, not to mitigate, or I mean, not to downplay Jason. Dwayne, he's funny. He had some funny moments, but Jason, what he did with that baby carrier just made me laugh so hard. Funny part, I was babysitting when I was watching that movie.
Oh,
and the baby was in a baby carrier. So I pulled him out and I laid him on the floor away from the TV. So I thought this will be funny.
Oh my goodness. I'll have to check that one out. One more time with the title.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. All right.
Hobbs and Shaw. It's just funny. But if I was to go off of one of my favorites, now I tend to be I've been told I'm old, for one. And if you're seeing my face now on our YouTube channel, I've got plenty of gray to suggest that. And when I had the beard, according to my wife, the beard put on 10 years.
The longer beard, yeah.
The longer beard. But I like black and whites. I grew up on black and whites. And I recently watched again one of my all-time favorites, which was Gentleman's Agreement with Gregory Peck. Have you ever heard of it?
I don't think so.
Gregory Peck plays a writer who is asked to come to New York because this editor of a large magazine has an idea for a story, and the editor got the idea from his niece, who Gregory Peck finds a love interest in, and so they start dating. And the whole movie is actually based on it. And now it's interesting the timing of this, considering everything that's been going on in Israel. But that's not the reason why I'm bringing it up. The piece that the guy wants him to write about is anti-Semitism back in the early 1900s. And Gregory Peck's character, he's already had an experience as a writer. He's sitting there with his mother, His mother's had a medical emergency, and he's telling her, I don't know if I can really do this. I mean, when I was asked to write about miners, I went and I dug. I got in the dirt and I talked to miners, and I didn't just talk to miners. I lived it. And then he has this epiphany of going, wait a minute. What if I was to do something crazy? And his mother's looking, going, I don't know, but I think it's a good one. I think you should go with it. And so at the end of the movie, he finally hands in the serialization that he's been working on, and it's entitled I Was Jewish for 60 Days.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's one of my favorites simply because it just challenges me in my own biases, my own perspectives. I know that's not something that anybody would eagerly jump into, going, oh, yeah, this is fun. Let's challenge our biases. That's not a party game.
What do you do in your spare time?
Right. But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites, especially when it just comes to black and white. I could name off a litany of black and whites that I enjoy. But come on, what's another one for you?
Well, I don't think my wife would let me sleep easy if I don't bring up Shrek.
I knew you were going to say Shrek.
Yeah.
I knew it.
That's another one that was formative for me. As a kid, I loved Shrek. I had the whole thing memorized.
Yeah.
And as my sister and I, so we grew up, we had horses and cattle and sheep and all sorts of stuff. So as we would go out and about and do our chores, we would quote Shrek back and forth to each other, each of us being the different characters in the different scenes.
Donkey!
Yep. Donkey.
Sorry, that's
Shrek
actually pulling in a little Gabriel Iglesias into this.
Yep. So Shrek was a good one. Shrek was good.
What was one of your favorite lines out of the movie?
How do you ask such impossible questions? Favorite line out of the movie. Good
All right,
gracious.
what's one of your favorite lines?
One of my favorite lines is when they're approaching Fiona's castle where the dragon is. And it's just like a side comment. If you're not paying attention, you totally miss it. It's not a big, long conversation. They get across the bridge where they're swinging it back and forth and scaring the tar out of Donkey and stuff. They make the landing on the other side. And you already know what I'm going to say.
I do.
Anybody who's familiar with it. And so Donkey asks, so where is this fire-breathing pain in the neck anyway? And Shrek says, inside, waiting for us to rescue her. He says, I was talking about the dragon, Shrek. So good.
Oh, no.
And then when they rescue her and they're on their way back, and Shrek and Donkey are having a short joke riff off in front of Fiona about Lord Farquaad's stature or lack thereof. That's a pretty good moment. Let's just say men of Farquaad's stature are in short
supply.
Yes. I don't know, Shrek. There are those who think little of him.
Little of him. You think he's compensating for something?
Both of you. You're just jealous that you could never measure up to a man like Lord Farquaad. Okay, Princess. I'll let you do the measuring when you see him tomorrow.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Still getting over the cough.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe we should have reconsidered the topic of this
No.
episode,
I think it's
given that you're still
fantastic.
getting over bronchitis.
I'm flooding my body with good endorphins. This is good. It's gonna make me happy. It's gonna help my
The
body.
dopamine is helping. Okay.
Yeah, the dopamine. That's it. That's right. The dopamine. But you know what? So I like black and whites. I really enjoy cartoons. I really enjoy cartoons because they're levity. They make things a little lighter, brighter. Even if it's especially a lot of our more traditional Disney movies are. You go, wow. I mean, if that was a live action film, that would be an intense story, right?
Yep.
But while I have a favorite cartoon, which I'm going to mention it offhandedly, Cars, and there's reasons I have for that. But the one I really want to talk about, though, Cars is good. Don't get me wrong. I like
Cars
the
is great.
elements of friendship in it. It's phenomenal. I enjoy some of the scenes. They really did a great job on a lot of the story, the design, everything. But if there's one that I've even used in an opening to one of our episodes is I got you 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon,
whiskey, and lard.
Atlantis, that cartoon. I tell you, that was actually quite formative in the way that it really made me interested in linguistics. And I want to say that even though they didn't represent linguistics very well, if I was to actually say what movie does, it's Arrival with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. That was a proper demonstration of linguistics at work. Whereas with Atlantis, it's just fun. You've got these adventures that they're going on. They go down there and find it's just a blast. But then you've got those one-liners. They're in the middle of the chaos, and the old lady on the phone says, "Sorry, Maud, I'm gonna have to call you back."
Yep.
She's talking on the radio with her friend. It's like, really?
I love when he shows the picture in the journal of the giant sea monster Leviathan thing. And what's the demolition expert's name? I don't remember
Oh
his name.
man, I was just trying to think of it myself. I
Christy
can't
would know
remember
it.
off the top of my head. But yeah, so do the line.
But it
do the
looks
line.
like
It's
a great big
fantastic.
lobster, and he leans over to the
Yep.
person next to him and he goes, "With something like that, I would have white wine, I think."
Yeah.
So many good little moments in that movie.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And what's so funny is that I remember the day when I realized I'm sitting there watching it for who knows how many times. And I finally start listening to the voice of the king. I'm going, wait a minute. I know that voice.
Do you?
That's Leonard Nimoy.
No.
Yes.
Oh, I
Leonard
can totally see
Nimoy
it now.
was the guy that played Spock, plays the king of Atlantis.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Oh man, you just blew my mind.
Boom.
Boom.
And then now all I'm saying is that guy that with the sticks of dynamite.
Right? Yes.
Oh me, there is just that movie had
And
I
the
remember
doctor, the first time
Oh.
that Milo meets the doctor.
Yep. Here, do the line. You do it.
How does it start? He's got him.
Because I can't think it off the top of my head.
Just
Well,
how the
that's
scene
it.
ends with he's got these 2 big old beakers. He's like, "Here, I'm gonna need you to fill these up." And
With
and Milo
what?
spits the thermometer out of his mouth.
With
What?
That's right. That's what it is.
Milo
Yes,
Thatch, please report to the bridge.
Oh, I hope this has helped our listeners laugh. I really do. I really do.
Such a good movie.
It is.
And then
But
when they prank him, and he drinks a bottle of water, and the demolitions guy comes over and goes, "You didn't just drink that, did you? That's not good. That's nitroglycerin. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't do anything.
Don't
except
twitch a muscle."
pray." Then Mole sneaks up behind him and goes, "Boo!" Such a good movie.
It is. Oh man, you and me have quoted that to each other so much when we're tired.
It's true. It really is.
Oh me. Well, what do you think? You think that's a good capstone for this episode?
Sure. Let's cut it off before Matt just keeps on quoting movie lines.
Next thing I know, you'll be quoting Mall Cop. I still haven't seen that movie yet. I know you've referenced that in another episode. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I try to only quote movies that you've seen.
Okay.
Actually, before we close out the episode, I know that oftentimes when we've gone through favorite books and favorite movies and stuff, we neglect to actually talk about the Lord of the Rings. I feel like we do that because it's like the New York Times bestseller book list just negates the Bible, because everybody knows that the Bible is far and above the top of the list and has been since they started that. So they almost just don't even say it anymore. I feel like we do that with Lord of the Rings. We need to have one episode where we just geek out about Lord of the Rings, but
And we might. that maybe even maybe broach the topic of the new Rings of Power series. I don't know.
I'll let you carry that one because I have not seen it.
Okay.
But it just even the trailers for it just didn't do it for me.
Well, that's fair.
So.
That's fair. That's fair. The trailers for Crudes. You know what? I'm going to mention one more. I'm sorry. I have to. It's a favorite. It's an absolute favorite. My wife does not remember movies. 5 minutes after watching a movie, she will not remember single thing.
What
did we just watch? What was it about? I'm not kidding. She doesn't have a memory for movies. We're driving away from Crudes about 15 minutes after the movie, and my wife starts chuckling.
That was a good one.
Oh, yeah. We're driving away, and she starts chuckling, and I said, "What's so funny?" She goes, "That was funny." I said, "What's funny?" Because at that time, I already know she doesn't remember the movie, but she goes, "That was funny. I don't want to lose my protective layer." You just quoted the movie. She goes, "I guess I did. Yes, I did. I'll quote another line too. What's a pet? Something you don't eat. Oh, we call those children."
Yes.
Release the baby.
Release the baby. Yes.
The trailer for that did not get me. And so I'm sitting in the movie theater going, I don't know what this movie is going to be any good or not. I think I maybe only saw the trailer once. And then boom, that movie just nailed. Oh, that's one of those movies you want to go into blindly going, that's just such a pleasant surprise.
Yes.
Oh man.
When the dad's trying to be all cool and he can come up with inventions too.
Okay.
And he gets the snapshot where the rock comes up.
Right. And then his boy says, "I think you need to do it again. I think my eyes were closed.
I think I blinked." Yeah.
I think I blinked. That's what it was. I think I blinked.
Oh
man. But release the baby. My own daughter will yell that across the house some days. Release the baby. I'm going, what are you doing?
And then does she come tearing across the house?
That would be funny to see. I don't remember ever doing that, but that would be funny though if that actually ever happened.
Oh man.
So anyways, I'm sorry. I had to say that one. That has been a long quoted movie in our family. And my wife, every now and then, whenever I have to say, well, we need to wash the dogs or we need to get the other pets into the bathtub, she'll say, "Oh, they don't want to lose their protective layers." Okay.
Yep. It's just like how my wife and I can't go to Chick-fil-A without me, because I always get the parfait with the granola because it's gluten-free. And I always have to do the parfait bit from Shrek every time in the drive-thru. Yep.
Oh man,
it's just one of those things in the family
that
you get.
It is.
Something would be wrong if that family member didn't do that thing. It just you'd look at him and go, "Are you feeling well? What's going on?
Why aren't you telling your story? Why aren't you doing your
right?"
line? Oh man, yeah, I've done the same thing with ogres are like layers. They're like onions.
They stink. Yes. No. Oh, because they make you cry. No. Oh, because you leave them out in the sun, they turn brown, start sprouting little white hairs. No.
Man, you're good at that. Can I
close
close that?
Everybody likes parfaits.
Everybody
likes parfaits.
parfaits.
You ever talk to somebody, you say, "Hey, let's go get some parfait." They say, "Hey, no, I don't like no parfaits." Parfaits are delicious. Okay, let's close the episode quickly.
I really want to tell a story though. This is so funny because just the way families act, and I've already said Fiddler on the Roof, so I'll bring that to full circle. We're walking through Walmart one day. My mother and dad had 5 children, 4 boys, 1 girl. There is about an 8-year difference between me and the youngest, and the youngest was probably 3 years old. My dad had taken Fiddler on the Roof and recorded it onto cassette tape. Now that's not dating me. I don't know what is. And we would listen to the movie on road trips. There's even a story one time where he turns up the dream scene. My mother's asleep next to him in the passenger seat. And Tevye screams, and it wakes up my mother, and it's just funny. But here's the thing: we're walking through Walmart one day. My 3-year-old little brother is sitting in the cart. 3 or 4, and all of a sudden he busts out in a song. And I'll come to her by night, and I'll take her by the throat. And we're walking through Walmart, and this lady looks over at my mother and just has this look of horror on her face going, what kind of kids are you raising? And all my mother could do is just kind of blush and shy and go, I don't know.
That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I was so prepared for you to say that you were going through Walmart and he saw something he wanted, and so he started singing, If I Was a Rich Man.
He's done that. He's actually done that.
Of course.
And so my son did that one time, I think, if I remember correctly. My son actually did that one time because we told him no. Well, why not? We just don't have money for that today. If I were a rich man. That's it, so somberly. Okay. I know we need to really end it now, or else we're going to get lost.
We would love to hear from you, our dear audience. If you have lasted this long on this episode, then God bless you. We appreciate you. We would love to hear from you, your favorite movie or a movie that was formative for you and why. Write to us at beardedbiblebrothers@gmail.com. And until next time, keep watching funny things and keep being ridiculous and hang in there with this crazy world.